So I'm gonna pull the smart pass. Jeremy is not able to get anything from the company.
Okay.
See,
You see it? Yeah. So, moving forward, it'll go to the president, vice president. So that means I'm here.
this is generated by that same Simply.
No, he has to download it as a Word document and add the red font.
Oh, okay, okay,
It's common practice among city council, school board meetings.
sure, yeah, well, she was doing it herself anyway.
Yeah,
Still.
yeah, so that's our job. Yeah. But with your feedback, you can make adjustments, so it's personalized to you as well.
Okay, sounds great.
Because now they're all family. So look for now. Oh. Almost here, see that one?
The Wi-Fi password is my general password.
She's trying to get on Wi-Fi on her computer.
So that's like Stanford, visitor.
We have visitor, but then she can. Sister person.
At
Yes.
Stanford, you don't have to do anything, you just click on home.
We have two different ones.
Yeah, there's a visitor one, which is like more restrictive and has more filters, but it's easy to get on.
Yeah, exactly. I like it.
There you go. And most places do that. That way it keeps everyone.
Hey, Sue, did you put this here?
I just grabbed it because it's on the floor.
If I cry, it was your fault.
Okay, I'll take ownership.
I was like already on the verge and I saw it, I was like, oh gosh.
No, I'm-
Two boxes is gonna make me cry.
It up was on the floor. I just put it right
It
there.
really was random.
It was random.
That is funny.
I wouldn't know when to not put it somewhere.
So then I can't even thank you for the sweet thing.
Mhm.
I was gonna thank you. Just kidding.
You're throwing darts.
Just messing with you.
Jeremy, I just got my visitor parking for Stanford right now.
Oh, right.
At 5:06.
For the meeting from earlier
Well,
today.
that was yesterday.
Yesterday.
Oh,
Too
yesterday.
little, too late.
You look good, baby.
You should just go park there out of transit.
Oh, no, they want me to go back again tomorrow.
Okay.
That's too much.
I should have bought my, I was wearing my jacket.
And then when I read it, I was like, oh, I didn't think about grabbing it. It's so cozy.
It's really cozy.
Very warm.
Perfect weather.
Welcome, everyone. It is now 6 p.m. and I'm calling to order the Sunnyvale School District's regular board meeting. I see that all trustees are present. We are on to, oh shoot, you know. Okay, I printed out the wrong one. Please note that there is a recording being made at the request of the board. May the translator please explain the translation services. Thanks.
Yes, good evening everyone. Buenas noches. Se utilizará la función de interpretación de Zoom para soporte en inglés y español. Todos los participantes de esta llamada deben seleccionar su idioma de preferencia haciendo clic en el idioma correspondiente cuando el anfitrión active la función de interpretación. Dicha función se encuentra en el panel de herramientas en el icono del globo terráqueo. El modo de interpretación para esta reunión será el simultáneo. Gracias por su atención y colaboración.
Thank you. We're on to item 3, which is the approval of the agenda. If there's any member of the public that would like to speak on this item only, which is solely the approval of the agenda, please let us know with a blue card or by using the raised hand feature online. Okay, seeing none, board, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda as it is. See?
As is? Sure.
Yes.
And second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Item 4 is public comment for closed session. The topic tonight is public employee performance evaluation, Government Code 54957, superintendent evaluation. Is there any member of the public who wishes to comment on our closed session item? If so, please use the blue card or use the raise hand feature online. Okay, seeing none. We're gonna move to item 5. It is now 6:02 p.m. We are going to recess for a closed session. And we'll take a 5-minute break after closed session. We'll return to the boardroom at approximately 6:30 p.m. Thank you.
Great.
Linda was asking.
Yes, yeah, I don't know where the,
Yes,
this is what it's been, but I don't know.
I was trying to push it back. Here's my list.
Right.
That's all, so I can actually.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I did, because I was like, you have it, no.
Yeah, but this is just, this is my big list of weeks.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I don't, yeah, wherever you think.
So I can.
I got you. Okay, okay, got you. Okay.
Tasha says she's in town. You can be
Okay, thank you very much. It's now 6:40 p.m. and I'm calling, we're returning back to open session. We do not need to continue the closed session after item 13. So as a reminder, a recording is being made at the direction of the board. The recording may capture conversations in the room. I see that all members are present. And there was no action taken in our closed session. Okay, please, let's see. We're gonna be led by the pledge tonight by Noah David Perez. So please come to the podium or give them a
Come
mic.
this way.
Yeah,
This
right over.
way right here. Can I come right here? 1 second, can I introduce you? I'm having you stand right here and I promise I'll give you this. First of all, I just want to thank everyone for this opportunity tonight. My name is Manny Villapando. I am the principal at Vargas Elementary School, and I have this honor to introduce Noah, who is our first grade at our school. In addition to knowing the pledge and going to lead us tonight, he is a very inquisitive young man who is going to be a future engineer, scientist, military expert, one of them, because he couldn't settle on one. So Noah, are we ready to lead us? All right.
Begin.
Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Next up, if I could have Andrea Rivera. Andrea is one of our 4th grade students. Not only is she a leader on our student council, she is a transformative student on our campus. And so she's going to lead us in a land acknowledgement. Do want to share, learned a really amazing tip. Her mother, who's in the crowd, was part of our first ever class at Vargas a few years ago. And she not only went through Vargas, SMS, and then eventually Homestead. And so she's blazed a trail and her daughter's going to continue blazing. All right, are we ready? I put this here. There you go.
Sunnyvale School District is located on the ancestral and unceded land of Mawikama Ohlone tribe, who have peacefully honored and cared for this land for thousands of years. We recognize that every member of the Sunnyvale community continues to benefit from the use and occupation of this land. We acknowledge our responsibility to learn from the wisdom of the Ohlone people and to consider how we might work to repair injustices and to move forward together in honorable ways.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we're on to reports, item 9, reports. So we're gonna start with student reports. Oh, no student reports? Oh, I thought we had our school. Do we want to take a picture with the visiting student?
Sure.
Could we take would you mind taking a picture with the board? You did such a great job. Is that okay? Thank you.
You guys want to stand in front of the board?
Yes.
That's a good one.
Let's hold that phone. We're gonna come in behind you, so you guys.
That way you guys can squish together.
Great job. Awesome. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Awesome.
Hey, great job. Thank you.
Thank you, good job.
Thank you so much. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, so now we're on to item 9, reports. So first up is our superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Wasi. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our regular scheduled board meeting. Let's go to the next slide, please. I want to begin by acknowledging the Sunnyvale Education Foundation for their quick response to formalizing this campaign. And if you're not aware of it, it's Nourish Your Mind, Feed the Future. The goal is to raise $20,000 to support our most vulnerable families. So I just want to thank you for you stepping up and so quickly responding to this immediate need, and we really appreciate it. I know it's a big concern, not only here in Sunnyvale, but everywhere in terms of how do we step up, come together, and support families in this time of need. So thank you so much. And the link is on there, and if you see it posted as well, follow us on social media. You can see more information and click on how you can support as well. Let's go to the next slide. And so I also just want to share an update in terms of some of the things that we're doing here in Sunnyvale School District to support our families. And with this, I'm going to pass it over to Dr. Dean.
Good evening, everyone. Glad to provide this update. And first and foremost, I just want to thank the team that's been working tremendously and Mr. Slayton, who's in the space. So he may have some additional comments this evening, but we really appreciate the work that has been done in response to supporting our families who may need additional support with food during our breaks. On the slides there, you'll see that we have information identifying families in need. And so Mr. Slayton, along with the student support team, has worked with our social workers and our outreach in order to get a service, a food needs survey out. So we've identified some families that need support. And so we will begin to coordinate food boxes in order to support food for families during our break and kind of get a sense of what's needed. In addition to that, we are scheduling 2 pickup dates. Those dates are at Bishop to provide food and distribution to our families, and in coordination with the Sunnyvale Education Foundation, as Dr. Pastor indicated, we will also be able to provide grocery gift cards to families. And last but definitely not least, in our ongoing effort to support families with external resources, we've updated our resource list that we have in order to provide these additional resources to families, not only for food resources, but other resources that they may have at this time.
And Madam President, that concludes my report.
I have a couple clarifying questions. We're allowed to discuss this, right? Okay, so for the survey that went out,
Hi, good to see you.
So for the survey that went out to a select group, right?
Correct.
Will it also be going out to other families that may not be listed with us in some way?
Yes. So there's 3 ways we did it. We used the
Mr. Cuffey helped with the low socioeconomic markers that we use through the state. That's kind of a multifaceted report that includes parent education level, previous qualification for similar services. On top of that, we did choose to go with our families that receive McKinney-Vento services, also registered foster youth. Beyond that, we used the school outreach teams who know families that may not have done the paperwork, but have had needs ongoing and have received support throughout the school year, this year or last. So between those 4 efforts, that is the families that qualified as low socioeconomic, but also a broader grab of families that might need support.
So, you know, with food insecurity, it's one of those things that people tend to hide. So I'm wondering if there will be a general communication about in case you need help.
Yeah, so that is going to be the thing Dr. Dean mentioned. That's the updated resource list. That's going to go district-wide. We're not doing it yet because the additional resources, we've had 3 versions now with more and more coming on. So that's going to go to everybody in the district as we draw nearer to the break.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
Oh, is the survey going to a broader population?
Will someone who might not be signed up on, might not be on anybody's radar, but who is having a situation, will they be notified in any way that any of this is available? If you need help, we have food.
Got it. So the superintendent's weekly message is going to include some information about it, but there's also a physical flyer with a QR code, whether or not you're qualified to receive any, that's still available to all families.
Okay.
Those are at every school site and every social worker has them to be able to give to families. So that would be how you would have a family that isn't on the list that received the email, but can jump on the survey and say, hey, I'm going to need food support. And they will also qualify to get a box.
So they would have to go to a social worker?
They could go. They could go to anyone at the site, so our front office staff are aware, our principals are aware, but what we know about the culture of our schools is families tend to go to their trusted adults. So whoever that trusted adult is probably who they're gonna go to if they don't just go to the front office and ask for that flyer. So that's how we're addressing that, but we're not sending it district-wide because we want to be sure we're focused with the resources that we have available to actually support families.
So if I might make a suggestion, in the past, sometimes a poster would be helpful because people might not know to ask that it would even be available from a trusted resource at the school. And then my second question was regarding deliveries. During the pandemic, a bunch of us drove around. So I was wondering if a system like that would be available because there are people who do not drive during the day.
So far, we have volunteers signing up to do the food deliveries. It's a smaller number than the ones that have asked for food support so far. Dr. Crossway's on the list, but also the majority of our social workers will be doing deliveries where school outreach will be doing the physical pickup.
Because at Sunnyvale Middle School alone, there were 30 families, during the pandemic that regularly relied on that. So and right now they don't have an outreach coordinator there. So is somebody supporting?
Yes, so
who's supporting Sunnyvale?
Mr. Iwasaki's team is using Ms. Guzman, but also both of their social workers, Ms. Flores and Ms. Patterson, are taking on what would have been the role of the outreach assistant. They also received a little more information since they don't have an outreach assistant, having the physical list, the actual phone numbers of families. It's a very confidential document, but they're doing phone calls that would have otherwise happened through the outreach position.
Okay, thanks so much.
Sure.
Anyone else have any questions?
Yes, so as I understand, we are going to have in pandemic times some deliveries, some extra food to take home for the kids. That's question one, because before, sometimes during the pandemic, some kids could get some dinner or they could take it home from the school. And also during these deliveries of food, is that with Second Harvest the delivery that comes once a month, or we're gonna do more like when after pandemic we did more in Vargas and Maywood and other schools?
Sure. So this is additional to the Second Harvest twice per month food pickup that we're doing in the parking lot. This is an additional food pickup the Friday before break and the Monday of break. There will be pickup at Bishop. We're doing one location this time, but also the drop-offs that Ms. Watson mentioned. On top of that, Second Harvest actually reached out today to ask if we wanted to increase the weekly food distribution for the time being. We do. And so they're looking like they can staff volunteers. They're not close enough for me to announce anything yet, but they wanted to move to weekly on Wednesdays just through the holiday. We told them we can absolutely accommodate them in the parking lot. They did not want to move back to school sites as they felt they're getting almost 200 families per Wednesday here. And it was working pretty well for the organization, but we did tell them we can add Wednesdays until they feel comfortable that they've done what they can.
And that's for groceries, that's not for school meals.
Correct.
So a bit of an update on that. So from the nutrition side of things and nutrition team, so we're planning to put together boxes that would feed families for 9 days. And this is starting the Friday, November 21st. So that would not only include the 5 days that they're not in school during that week, but also the 2 weekends on both sides of it. So that's the first kind of plan of response to make sure our kids stay fed through that first break. We're also starting the plans for to be ready for the December break. And so during that 2-week period, we're looking into how could we possibly provide hot meals and even potentially a hybrid model where there's hot meals, but there's also grab and go, so you can have food at home for when you need it throughout the rest of the week or whatnot. So we're still coordinating details, but generally those are the thoughts and the plans at this point. But we will be ready to feed our families come Friday the 21st.
Thank you.
And just briefly, if I might point out, Vanessa Escobar, our school outreach coordinator, Diana Johnson is the social worker at Bishop, and Armando, who is on Arthur's team, just took this and have taken it to a level that it wouldn't have been at had they not just been eager and primed to say, hey, we've got hungry people, let's go. Incredible turnaround in 48 hours after we had our last board meeting. They had a preliminary plan that Friday afternoon. So humbling and awesome.
And I mean, I would just say, well, you know, the more we can really advertise to people that this is available if they ask, like if it is needed, they can talk to someone and it's available. I think that's really important for this time, you know, because most people, you know, if you say, honestly, like if you say, well, if you need some services, you can come and talk to us and we can connect you with services. Most people are like, no, I don't really need services. I'm just low on cash for food. You know what I mean? Or they don't want the whole, you don't want to do a whole thing. You know, like we want them to do a whole thing because we want to support them and support the family and support our students, but they might not be ready for that, but they might just want to know, can they get a box of food, you know? And that would just be like the first step in like building that trust, which I think we have a lot of trust, so that's really good.
Thank you.
One more thing was some schools are doing additional drives.
Yes.
So, and you know, the Ed Foundation, that money is going to be used for. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So in partnership with Seth, thank you, they donated gift cards today, which are actually getting delivered tomorrow to get ahead of the 4-day weekend that's coming. This happened through social workers and school outreach assistants as well. These are grocery cards to just help people before we have the food pickup and hot food available. And again, amazing turnaround and thanks to our teams. So that's happening through Seth. And again, as a pilot to see what could happen over the December break. We're hoping that, you know, resources have stabilized, but gift cards, though a little tricky, we want to be very careful that they get to the right people. Very helpful for families that just need to help buy their own groceries and cook in their home.
And then last thing, could you talk a little bit about the food drives going on at the different schools?
So there's 2 schools, Bishop and San Miguel, have canned food, physical food drives that were kind of disconnected, but started along the same timeline as what we're doing here. When we reached out to Second Harvest, they were very specific, saying, please do not increase food donations right now. The logistical impact, and it was interesting, the logistical impact of a large food donation at the holidays is overwhelming, and they're not always able to inventory the food in time to deliver it before it's out of date. So they said a fiscal support, it means we can go long-term, or use all those funds right now if the need skyrockets. So there's 2 physical food drives. We aren't planning to increase canned food physical drives right now, just in response to Second Harvest's kind of expertise around this and making sure we don't swarm them with food.
Well, I think like during the pandemic, they were doing that and then they were distributing in their own community, like in their own, they weren't doing it to
I do think it's more that direction
Yeah.
than it is us doing something like the larger scale district-wide thing.
Okay, thanks so much.
Sure, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, now we're on to board members' reports, item 9C. We can go down the line. Evelyn, do you want to begin?
I've just been busy with work, but I did finish my master's in governance, ethics training bill, so I did that. Thank you.
Great. Congratulations.
Well, it was a nice weekend with a lot of activities since we got the time. I will submit my activities. One of them was the trunk or treat at the shelter, well, with the shelter kids. That was great. All of those kids are students, and we had quite a few board members, the assembly members, supervisors who were there and helped give candy and have a great time for these children. That was an amazing day. Then the next day, on Dia de los Muertos, we had the set board where we decided to do the drive, the food drive, because a lot of them were very excited about our Thursday meeting. So it was a good weekend actually, a great weekend for the kids. I also did other stuff, celebrating the whole weekend for Dia de los Muertos, but I will submit my activities later. Thank you.
Thanks.
No comment really, just most of you know that my grandpa passed away this week, so that's what's going on.
Hello. It's been a busy week and I will submit all my activities as well. We started off with the Sunnyvale Education Foundation meeting, out of which was born our drive. So I've been very busy with that, and also knocking on a lot of doors down El Camino Real, trying to get some support from businesses. Finished up some TK visits at Cherry Chase, Vargas, and Ellis. President Watson and I were able to visit all of the schools, and it's really great to see how all the schools approach this TK play-based model. Two really interesting kind of webinars that I attended. Well, this is actually a lunch and learn for the Santa Clara County School Boards. We had a discussion about communicating district budget challenges, which I found very useful to hear about other districts in this area and the challenges with communication. And it's just great to be like in community with other trustees that have similar things, but not exactly the same. Something I attended today was a webinar, and it was by this group called Green Schoolyards. And the name of that was Embracing Risky Schoolyards, Play for Exploration, Learning, and Growth. And I thought this was a very interesting talk. They were talking about the word risky versus hazardous with the idea to make things as safe as necessary, but not as safe as possible, so that our students, our kids have a chance to kind of have some risk and kind of, they said, microdose on some uncertainty, build up some tolerance for that. And so this is such an interesting thing for me, because I know for us all, this is a challenge, right? It's like this these executive functioning, the self-regulation, but having nature be part of learning how to manage self. It was really interesting, so I'm happy to share that with other people. Last thing, I went to a bubonic plague simulation at 7th grade history teacher today, and that was really fun. They were super engaged.
Okay, that sounds great. That sounds really fun. Bubonic plague simulation. Okay, so again, I just wanted to reiterate that for my announcement is that November 16th through the 22nd is National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. And I want to thank everybody for their support of Sunnyvale Community Services, Second Harvest Food Bank. And I really want to thank the Ed Foundation for jumping in, because those gift cards are going to make a difference for the families living in cars or who just do not have the ability to cook anything. So I really think that's fantastic because it allows families a lot of dignity. And piggybacking on Trustee Rivas-Blemrich's comment about trunk or treat, I also want to thank everybody here contributed, but also we had cars there and trucks there from our school district, but also the teachers union and the classified union, and really represented with all the different games and activities. So the kids had a great time. I will send in my activities, but two things I wanted to highlight. One was we just, Trustee Shen Brewster and I just finished our tours of TKs, walking all around the district, and I want to thank Mr. Nishihara for taking us around and giving us different windows into different times of TK, the world of TK, and it was just so fantastic to just see that age group and just be immersed in around 4-year-olds and just chatting with them and seeing them explore. So I think TK is a great addition to our district. I'm really glad we have it, and I can't wait to see how it will evolve. And my other takeaway was walking to SMS for my volunteer gig today. There was this, I was across the crosswalk and I'm walking and I'm surrounded by students and I just hear this singing, and it's like a low singing, but it's like someone just singing to themselves, right? And I turn around and it's this like little girl from SMS, and she's just singing to herself and she has no headphones in. She's just singing a song, and I was like, okay, like this reminds me of, when I went to the library, and there was some kid just waiting for her mom to pick her up, and she was just drawing, and I'm like, to have the time. But this girl was like singing just in space, like music taking her to school. So like, it was just very sweet. So it just reminded me of the age, like they're just totally immersed. So I loved it. I will send my comments in. Thank you. So now it's time for 9D, comments from the Sunnyvale Education Association. At this time, we would like to hear from the Sunnyvale Education Association. If there's an official representative online, please use the raise hand feature now. Okay, item 9E, California School Employees Association. At this time, we would like to hear from you. If there's an official representative, please use the raise hand feature now.
None.
Okay. And Sunnyvale Education Foundation, I do see we do have an official representative in the room. So President Eugenie, please come to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you, good evening. I am here tonight, well, first to listen to all of your fabulous things in the news of the district, but I'm also here with a check, and it is the last big check of our fall school grants. So it was in the amount of $79,000, and I've given the check to Mr. Coffey, and this rounds out the, like I said, the school grants, although we have another $1,000 we anticipate coming to you. And this is supporting a variety of things across our district, including things like field trips, math Olympics, assemblies, some more play performances. We look forward to seeing Frozen over at Lakewood this year, for example. At this point, all of our 10 schools have received support from our fall grants, and we're very proud to continue to be supporting all 10 of our schools and the students at those schools to give them fantastic opportunities and meeting the needs where they exist and just making school a more fun place to be. I'd also like to share what's coming up. Mid-year, we will be launching our special projects, and for this year, we're going to be building on the theme that we presented at our recent roundtable event, which was Beyond the Classroom. And so we've set aside some funds, and we'll be reaching out to our school sites in order to tell them about this opportunity to get some financial support behind taking learning beyond the four walls of the classroom. So I'll come back with more about that later. And I also wanted to point out that we also, in this latest round of support, are contributing to the library refresh. We've been very pleased to hear about the long-term plan to get some of the latest and greatest of literature, but more importantly, nonfiction materials. We know the sciences and social studies materials are particularly in need of some refresh, and so we've contributed $10,000 for towards that effort at this time, and we will continue to provide some support. And then last but not least, of course, we've heard a lot tonight about the opportunity to provide some food assistance, and we very much appreciate your trust and faith in us, and the Education Foundation is pleased to be able to be limber and flexible enough to turn around and make an immediate impact, and we'll continue to monitor. At this time, we have raised over $8,000 in the campaign, and that's with it having just launched. So thank you to everybody listening who has already shown support, and we want to continue to get the word out there. Our goal is to raise $20,000. And as we heard earlier from Director Slayton, we've already provided, I believe, $2,000 of gift cards just today for distribution. And so thank you to the school district and the staff and all the members across the district who are helping make this happen so quickly. It's fantastic. So what a wonderful example of the partnership. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so now we are on to item 10, which is public comments. This is the time this portion of the agenda provides an opportunity for members of the public to directly address the governing board on any item of interest to the public. However, provisions of the Brown Act, Government Code 54954.2A and .3 preclude any action being taken on any item not appearing on the posted agenda. Time limits allocated to public testimony are 3 minutes per person and 20 minutes for public comments. Speakers are asked to give their name and affiliation so that an accurate record is reflected in the minutes. So this is for anything not on tonight's agenda. If anyone would like to comment on this, please use the raised hand feature now. Okay, seeing none, we are on to item 11, the consent agenda. Okay, so any item on the consent agenda is subject to review and discussion prior to being approved by the board. If necessary, any items may be removed for separate action. The public may address the board regarding any items on the consent agenda. Okay, we do have 2 cards on the consent agenda. For public comment on the consent agenda, and you can pull any item for consideration. We have so far from the public 11A1. If there's any member of the public online, please use the raised hand feature now if you have an item on the consent agenda you'd like to discuss. Okay, seeing none, the first speaker is Diane Chan, and then after that we'll have Teresa Wilson on Oh, do we have to make a motion to approve just this one? No, they're pulling this one.
Well, it's not even having to be pulled necessarily.
It's just for
They're
discussion.
just making comments.
Okay,
And then later we can make a motion to pull or not pull or whatever.
okay, perfect. Thanks. We don't have a lot of public comment on the consent agenda,
I think this is the first one.
in practice.
Yeah.
Welcome. I will have 3 minutes for the board.
Oops. Good evening. My name is Diane Chan, and I am one half of the communication and community relations firm known as Lighthouse Blue. I want to thank the SSD for nearly 12 years of work together. In particular, I'd like to thank District Communications and Community Engagement Manager Aaliyah Wilson for more than a decade of thought partnership. Aaliyah is one of the hardest working, most productive people with whom I have had the pleasure of working. Her professionalism, skill, and commitment to implementing best practices and leveraging data to guide her strategy are notable. Because I value our long-term relationship with the district, I think it's important to provide some information on the item before you. First, the cost of the services we provide under our existing agreement has not increased. What has increased is the volume of projects assigned to us, which we delivered after discussions with district staff, clarifying that the expanded work was outside of and in addition to our approved scope. For the record, here's an itemized list of the work we delivered from July through October. Do I give that to you or them?
Over here, Dan. Secretary.
Oh, you're the secretary?
So please note that all the tasks listed in blue were above and beyond our contracted projects and completed upon the direction of district staff. We also delivered the pre-planned contracted items in black. As you can see, we produced a substantial amount of work in addition to our planned activities, including 6 videos, 15 press releases, and support for 2 events. Upon the superintendent's direction, we also greatly accelerated the production timeline for 11 of the 12 videos we had planned to produce this school year, completing filming for 9 of those videos in 2 weeks just last month. The staff report for 11A.1 states that operational costs for our work have risen unsustainably. I would like to clarify that we have not exceeded our contracted annual amount. The district could have elected to continue with our established monthly fee and simply adjusted our workload accordingly for the duration of the contract. Finally, the report states that transitioning to a new provider will save the district about $35,000 per year. But in fact, the proposed prorated contract with Volair, described in 11A.2, is actually $3,000 higher than our annual contract for the same services. Of course, the district is free to choose its vendors, and I sincerely hope that your relationship with Volair is as long and productive as ours has been, and that we might find the opportunity to work together in the future. Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Teresa Wilson.
Okay, I'm Teresa Wilson. I'm co-owner of Lighthouse Blue. I'm not here to dispute the early termination of our contract, but to clarify some facts and to foster understanding in the spirit of collaboration we've shared over the years. We began consulting for you 12 years ago. I was on the interview panel to select Aaliyah, and it's been an honor to see her grow into such an accomplished professional. Our business relationship began, however, much earlier. I served as president of your first, smaller foundation and championed a major corporate grant that helped to build the neighborhood center and more. In short, Diane and I have worked with 6 superintendents and through many seasons of the district's evolution, and one thing has never changed. Our relationship has always been grounded in trust. That brings me to our work agreement. Under our contract, our firm's hours are allocated annually and divided into 12 payments, allowing for natural variation month to month within the confines of the annual allocation. In 12 years, that contract arrangement has always worked. When Dr. Crossway began, he brought with him an exciting and robust vision for communications, which is great, but which required much more time from Aaliyah and from us. We met in August to present an amended work plan. We proceeded with the increased work with the understanding that the adjustment would go before the board in September for formal approval. When it did not, we communicated frequently to clarify priorities, share year-over-year work plans for comparison, and report work being done outside of the scope of our agreement. We've had to work extensive hours against the annual allocation to keep up with the increase of work. Our most recent note offered two options for moving forward. One, payment for the overage, so work could continue throughout the rest of the duration of the year without reducing, or to continue without paying for the overage work, but reducing the hours later within our annual contract. But at no time in the past 4 months or in our 12 years of partnership have we acted without transparency or direction. It matters to us and to our reputation that you understand that. Thank you for listening. It's been an honor to be part of this team. And please know this is my community. I've lived and worked here for more than 60 years, and I'm proud of our schools. Diane and I will continue to champion the work that's happening here and wish you and all of you and everyone associated with the district every success. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, board, we're gonna go on to the consent agenda. Did you wanna adjust anything?
Yes, if I may, I'd like to pull item 11, B as in boy 4, the Smart Pass from your consideration. Staff and I need additional time to provide some additional details and clarify some questions that have come up to us.
Okay, board, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda, or would anyone else like to put another item for consideration?
I move to approve the agenda without item 11B4.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, it's discussion time.
Yeah, well, that just seems like the point of it. So I just have one quick question, for staff, kind of related to the comments they made. So the one, she was saying that is the new company that's on there is, from her perspective, was $3,000 more than their current one for the same amount of work. And I'm just curious, and maybe you don't have the answer right now, like this isn't gonna change like how I'm gonna vote necessarily, but I just would like staff to have a chance to kind of clarify that for us a little bit.
Yeah, and I can provide you with contracts or the proposal and the contract so you can see the difference. But Valera's 7,000 and Lighthouse Blue is about 6,800 a month.
Do you feel like it was for the same amount of work, or that we'll get more from Valera?
It's comparable to the work that we're now moving forward and expecting moving forward, yes.
Okay.
And the other thing is that, I don't want to really get into all the details, but Valera has a bigger team with different facets of strengths, including the graphic designs, media, social
Well, and they
media.
work with a variety of school districts too, so there's, right, they can pull from other ideas and things they've done with school specific.
Yes, correct.
Okay, that's it.
Are we ready to vote? Yeah, okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and the motion, or the consent agenda passes, thank you. Okay, we are on to item 12, review and action. 12A is the approval of the Cherry Chase Elementary School Modernization Option 2 project scope and budget. And yeah, on my agenda it says Brent Burns, but I don't see anything. I think that's Mr. Cuffey.
Yes. Good evening. Brent does the legwork behind the scenes. I'm here to present this request, but this is an extension of what we presented at the last meeting. This is for your review to approve the Cherry Chase Modernization Project Option 2 scope and budget. So I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
So do you want to restate the recommendation?
Sure. So our recommendation is that the Board of Education approve Cherry Chase Elementary School Modernization Option 2 project scope and budget after reviewing the accompanying report and presentation.
Thank you. Okay, we do have one speaker card on this item, which is Michelle Eugenie. If you're online and you would like to speak about this item, please use the raise hand feature now. But Ms. Eugenie, you can come to the podium.
I'm just speaking as public citizen, Cherry Chase parent, alum, current volunteer at the moment. Sorry I missed the last meeting. I have looked at the proposal and presentation. I just wanted to provide a little bit of feedback around the process and also some of the terminology in order to make fabulous decisions for campus improvements in the future, whether it affects this one or not is a separate matter. And that is the idea of creating outdoor learning spaces as defined in the presentation, whether you're looking at option 1, 2, or 3 or whatever. Those are not outdoor learning spaces. Those are benches and trees. And in Cherry Chase in particular, there are long spaces in between the classroom wings, those old classic California classroom wings. And I recognize that it is maybe unattractive aesthetically to just have the pavement, but those spaces are used for transit and the interim times going between activities and lunch and so on. And I cannot foresee the need to put in fancy benches and trees and all kinds of other things in that space, which adds money, because I don't think it's going to be a good use of the fund. And I would encourage thinking more creatively, potentially, about what those spaces in between classrooms may in fact be and mean. Maybe it's putting in splashes of color onto the pavement itself to make it a more attractive space, but low maintenance. I applaud all the rest of it, the new windows and all that kind of stuff. And then the other thing is on option 2, it does put in a 2-story building. I don't have a problem with that, sounds lovely. They've been very successful in the district, kids love them. But it faces with a huge outdoor learning square in the middle, again, on paper, sounds amazing. From a practical point of view, who is ever going to use that as an outdoor learning space? It might be nice if you're going to separate out food eating areas, but Cherry Chase Multi is quite large and they have a system for rotating kids in and out, so they're not going to be eating over there. And so I would say, what does that space mean? What does the district mean when it says outdoor learning? And then finally, I had a question. I was hoping Brant might be here, but I can follow up with him. It says garden behind there, which is where the old Room 31 portable used to be, and it got torn down in 2020. I recognize it was at the end of its useful life. Kids ask me all the time, Ms. Michelle, what is this space for? And I said, well, maybe someday there might be a building there. Well, looks like there's possibly going to be a building near there, but it's still left open and it's labeled as garden. And I go, oh my goodness, is my garden doubling in size? I'll follow up offline. Thank you so much.
Okay, are there any other comments online? This item? No. Okay, so board, we need a motion before we discuss. Thank you.
I move we approve the recommendation for Cherry Chase modernization.
I second.
Okay, comments?
Yeah, I thank you, Michelle, for your comments. It kind of was an extension of what we had started talking about last week, about these outdoor learning areas, and this kind of also dovetails with my with the webinar I attended with the Risky Schoolyard Play, Risky Not Hazardous. So I think it'd be really really great to be very intentional about our outdoor learning spaces and designing it, as President Watson was saying, according to maybe like the standards, so second and third grade both have a lot of potential for using the garden. So if we were able to have that kind of intentionality in our planning and also engagement of community members that clearly know so much about this campus and are so invested and want to see the best for our community, I think this is a great opportunity to continue building that relationship with our neighbors, having that high level of trust, and really great conversations are possible, and I'm very excited about this modernization.
Okay, I have some thoughts, but anyone else wanna go first? Okay, so I'm gonna say that I really do love option 2, but I really do want you to put both the pollinator garden that's in front, the little new side garden, and even the other garden. I want you to think of it holistically. Like, I would like to see improvements to that whole area in the scope. Because I know if you say, well, if we look at it more, if we're gonna build, how much do we say this is gonna cost?
The total project cost, 45.5 million.
45.5 million. I think that we can really actively focus on this idea of like, hey, you have the pollinator garden. That was a second grade little wing over there, and that's the Mr. Hauser, who is a longtime teacher who loved to work in the garden. You know, that was his classroom because it was close to both the main garden, the volunteer garden, and the pollinator garden, which was also put in by volunteers, but had a little more structural support from the district for the shape. But then imagine on the other side what we could do there with a real outdoor learning space. So I think this is the opportunity to look at living classroom. This is the opportunity to you have a principal who's very interested in science and STEAM. So I think it's just, there's already art on campus that's student driven with mosaics and tiles and, a history of murals. The mural went away with with the temporary building, but there is a high interest in art and science. So I would really ask that be included in the scope. And then the other thing I would say is that particular two-story building does have a street-facing element, right? Right now, it's internal. Like the way it's oriented is internal towards the outdoor learning area, but it does have a street-facing element. So, are we thinking that would be like within a fence line? Like the butterfly garden, I know there's a garbage there. Are you thinking that would be like internal to campus, or would that be another exit point? Do we know? TBD.
Great questions. What the aerial pictures that you see in the presentation are what they term schematic design.
Okay.
They're just shapes, square footage, rough estimates based on that.
Okay.
The following phase would be the design. See, I don't have my trust. I think it's design build. Not design build. The next
Whatever
one.
the thing was that you said last time.
Yes, design.
Like programming. It's the programming where
Yes.
they actually meet with people and talk about what they want.
That is where those types of conversations start to come together. So I'm taking notes. I think these are all great, amazing things.
I'm gonna say public color again, which builds on Michelle's idea about using paint, like strategically, to create joy, which Cherry Chase is a big fan of. They have it in their own little motto before we had ours. So I was very impressed with that. We sort of borrowed it, we love it. And then also, my thought is, we've talked to the city for a long time about public art on our campuses. They have some money when they do corporate jobs where they don't actually put the art in, but they fund it into a city pool of money. And we could possibly have access to that. So thinking about, okay, if we're having a pollinator garden or we're having this other, like where could we put some public art on our campus? And then, because it's a big project, and then finally, because we are moving towards this idea of a community school model, the location is sort of central. So is there something that Cherry Chase is missing that we would need to plan into a community school model?
Design development.
Excellent.
It was bothering me.
Yes.
So.
Okay, but any other, you guys agree with me about living classroom and public art and color? I mean, it's not just like Bridget raising her hand here, right? Like this is a whole thing for all of us, right? Most of us.
Yeah, and I wonder if we might also be able to challenge ourselves to build a campus without artificial turf. There's so many beautiful natural plants out there. So natural play spaces and again, the garden, the outdoor learning areas that are very intentional for groups to come out. It's very exciting and I can't wait to see how this develops.
And we're not touching the field, so there is no.
You, Ms. Rebecca? Can you talk in the mic? I can't hear you.
Yeah, no, that wasn't.
Do you have anything you want to say about like color and like this is the time?
Well, I'm looking forward to see what the design start developing a little bit more. Right now, it's just the boxes where things are going to be located. So I'm looking forward to see what's the difference in the spaces between. It's just a big green block. Right now, what is the outdoor learning space? How it's understood and what they have. So I think it's all in our direction already. They know what we want. So hopefully we will get some answers when we start seeing the designs. Right now there is no design, so it's just the location of the space.
So if we're approving option 2, can we state that we also want the surrounding gardens to be integrated into the design or improved in some way?
Yeah, so that's already noted. Absolutely, so it's already noted. Just to be clear, the scope that was taken into account and estimated based off of was like the previous what we have termed outdoor learning. But I think I'm hearing there's a different thought about what outdoor learning could be. I think that's a great conversation. The pricing of that would come in the next phase. You know, we'll talk to the architects, make sure that we get some of those things designed. Once we get into the process, we'll get things priced and see if it fits within the scope of this budget. And if not, we'd be back to ask for an increase in order to incorporate such things. So that's kind of where we are in the process. We're in the very beginning, but this is really good feedback and information. This is the time for us to jot it down.
Okay, any other discussion? Ready to vote? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. So, yay, for Cherry Chase. Okay, we're on to item 3, which is discussion items. We only have one discussion item, which is item 13A, middle school band programs and student performance opportunities. Dr. Dean.
Good evening, board. Just gonna kind of give a brief overview of our current programs at both Sunnyvale Middle and Columbia Middle School. At both schools, students in 6th through 8th grade are able to participate in band, orchestra, and music genesis. In addition to that, the students who are enrolled in those particular programs as they matriculate up are of course get more detail and advance in those particular areas of interest. All students are available, even if they have limited experience, to participate in these options, of course, based upon seats, but they all have the option to participate even at the 6th grade level if they do not have necessarily background experience. So students do have the opportunity to access all the programs. The idea for both programs at both our middle schools is to really just get kids excited about music and hopefully to expand that interest, if you will. Give them exposure to a multitude of opportunities, whether it be concerts, local events, and our music festivals. It's also an opportunity for them to just kind of expand their knowledge and support of the musics. And it also, for some students, is an opportunity to keep them engaged overall, to be very honest. And so it affords them that opportunity as well. At both of our schools, the students have been provided over many years, and I don't know when we started doing this, they have participated in the Anaheim Music Band Competition. And while that opportunity is a good opportunity for the students who have an opportunity to participate, it's extremely expensive. And as a result, that typically has happened every other year instead of every year, because it takes quite a bit of time for fundraising in order to fundraise for that particular program. In my communication with the principals this year so far, they've been engaged in what's in our local area or a little bit closer, so that we have more opportunities for students to engage in community events and other types of competition. The other emphasis around trips like the Anaheim band competition is that we are working on a plan to improve some of our musical instruments at both school sites. And to do so can become very expensive. Just to maintain our current instruments, don't quote me on this, but I do know we spend somewhere between $5,000 and $8,000 minimum just to maintain our current programming with musical instruments at our middle schools. And I would say both of our programs is really focused on equity of access and also ensuring that the resources are available for all interested students with an opportunity for enrichment and engagement in their performing arts program. And so that's just kind of a brief overview of kind of what we are currently doing in our programming. We do have a new teacher at our Sunnyvale Middle School. She's not new to our district because she started with us last school year. And then we are in year 2 with one of our teachers at Columbia Middle School. So that's kind of a short overview of kind of where we are in the programming. And at this time, I'd like to take an opportunity for additional questions or discussion you have around our middle school program.
Okay, we're gonna move to public comment first. So if there's anyone online who would like to speak on this item, you can use the raised hand feature now. But first, we'd like to invite Lauren Slam to the podium.
Good evening. My name is Lawrence Lamb. I have 2 8th grade daughters at Sunnyvale Middle. And I have actually 11th grader who also went through the entire Sunnyvale School District. From Cherry Chase, Sunnyvale Middle, now she's at Homestead, as you can see. They all love music. I'm going to tell the story from the perspective of a student, right? Or students, my kids. My youngest daughter, when she was in kindergarten, they had a pretty robust after-school music program. And what they did was they lined up all the instruments out there and they can just do whatever they like to do. Blow on it, play it, whatever they want. My daughter, who, let's say about 7 months before that, saw her high school marching band marching down Disneyland Main Street. She was mesmerized. She wanted to pick up every instrument and just start playing it. And from that moment on, we realized let's get into some basics, right? But I also realized that not every family can have the resources to be doing private lessons. Now, you mentioned the word band and orchestra. They're not individuals. They're a group of students who come together, learn from each other, play together in a way that makes music. So my oldest daughter, unfortunately, when she went through the music, pretty successful at Cherry Chase, something happened in 2020, and you know exactly what it is. I think it broke a lot of things, including the music program, unfortunately, at the Sunnyvale School District, specifically at Cherry Chase. It wasn't the same. Even when she went on to Sunnyvale Middle, it took a lot of Herculean effort from the music teacher to put that back together again. In 2023, I was chaperoning with my daughter and a whole bunch of other kids to the, actually officially it's called World Strides Heritage Music Festival at Anaheim. So she got to play along with kids from Columbia and her own school. They had a combined school because I think the population of not population, but the number of kids playing instruments had dropped significantly, what they had to combine to do together. They played really well. I was actually out there walking around and I said, oh, they're the Plaques. 2 years later, my two younger daughters have now gone through this. And they were in 8th grade orchestra, or 7th grade orchestra, and they won first prize overall for all orchestras, highest score within the category, and also the choir, let's not forget them, for I think that's 3rd place overall. Magnificent achievements. So the point is, I think we need to somehow support them, not just at the middle school level, but this is a Sunnyvale School District. It's at the low, even at elementary school level. Somehow we need to get them interested. By the way, my oldest daughter, last December, marched down Main Street at Disneyland with the Homestead marching band, and she marched in the Rose Parade 3 days after. She achieved her dream because the school supported her, gave her the opportunity to see what's out there with music, and she grasped it with both hands, and so do my other two daughters. Someday, there'll be kids out there, right? I'm sure there are already one. Maybe that first grader you saw, who might have seen a marching band, or maybe even saw the Rose Parade and said, I want to do that. We need to give them the opportunity to do that. And that's okay. Thank you for listening. By the way, you guys need to update the awards. They're in the back of my car when I was driving them back from Anaheim. These are really tall, by the way. You need a bigger display case. So they're still set in the middle. I know where they are. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, do we have anyone online? Not right now? Yeah, we did get several letters in, just in the last year or two, people were writing in about this topic. Does anyone want to start the discussion? Any thoughts?
So, 3 of my older daughters, they're all in college now. They all started band at Columbia Middle School. And I remember in 6th grade, they had what was called a petting zoo, and that was really fun for all the kids to go to, just to try all the different instruments, and see which one they want to try and play, even if they had no experience, and it was really great. So 6th grade, they didn't do any Anaheim field trips to Disneyland. It was during 7th grade and 8th grade. And a lot of kids were able to do it, and we did a lot of it through fundraising. I was the Music Boosters president for 5 years when I was there. And a lot of it was helping students fundraise if they couldn't afford or have the finances to go to the trip, because we didn't want to leave anyone out. So we fundraised, and whoever wanted to go was able to go, and it was really fun. But I hear now that it's every other year, and I don't think that that's right, because what if they go 7th and 8th grade? 7th grade, what if a student can't go? And so they can't go because they don't have the funds, and so they miss out next year, 8th grade, because that's the odd year that it's not happening. And music is really important. It helps the brain grow, and it just helps the kids. It just helps them. It just makes them smarter, and it just helps them socially and with friends, and being part of the boosters help the parents network and, on a personal level, and also with the community, and just coming together and helping kids just do what they want to do, play music and just be with their friends and go compete, and of course go to Disneyland. Maybe not so much Knott's Berry Farm, but Disneyland, they really love going there. And last year, CMS wasn't able to do one of the performances, and I think there was a conflict. Speaking to one of the moms who now graduated from CMS, and she was the president of CMS last year. And is it okay if I read what she?
Is this the spring concert you mean, the spring?
Oh, it was the one that SMS had a performance, and CMS at the theater, and CMS couldn't go.
Yeah.
And so she was just saying that it was possibly a lack of communication between not aligning the calendar events and transportation, and just the school district, or the district should plan ahead the calendar, so both schools have time to sort things out and have it on their calendars, and so that way transportation for the kids, because I know there's a lot of kids who didn't have transportation, so they couldn't go, and then it just got all complicated. And so, just making sure that kids have a way to get there, and then just so that both schools can attend, so the kids can have that chance to perform. I know a lot of kids were sad that they weren't able to join, and the other school was able to join. I'll let someone else have a turn. Band, orchestra, and choir, they're really important in the school. And like Mr. Lamb says, it would be great if we could have that at the elementary schools also. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, both of my kids did the music program at SMS. First, Gabriel, when he was about to go to Disneyland, then it was 2020, so it didn't happen. And then Daniel, when it was time for him to go, the district hasn't restarted the Disneyland either. So none of them went there. And then both of them, they went to the orchestra option and not the marching band, and there are no activities for march. If you are not in the marching band, you don't travel. You just play and maybe go to another high school once a year. So that was a little disappointing. But anyway, I remember that at the beginning when Gabriel was choosing to go to, well, their school was SMS, but at the time there was a program, the Stanford program, and there was the option to go to the Stanford program at CMS. One of the things that was attractive other than the Stanford program was that the music program was supposed to be the best one at CMS. we just decided to go to SMS for different reasons. Most of the parents from Fairwood decided to go to CMS for because of the music program was pretty good over there. And then somehow it switched after Mr. Ancheta came, and now they have more options at CMS. They used to have, and people start complaining because now they have a bigger choir, they have theater, a musical theater, and they have other classes that weren't happening at CMS, so somehow it changed completely. So the ideal it will be that no one school is better than other, but both of them are awesome. Both of them are pretty good, and it's not about lowering the options in one because it's not happening in the other one. Is to raise both of them, because I do hate that oh, we're not gonna start this class here because we cannot do it in the other side. That's not fair to anyone. Could raise both of them and try to be mindful that those things like the performance that didn't happen because there wasn't enough communication, and that there are enough options and classes for like music theater, choir, different type of orchestra, or symphonic or band or whatever they are for both places. That would be great. Be mindful of everything, and that's it.
Michelle?
I think my main question is just like, are we giving direction to staff? Are we just like, what is the purpose of this like discussion? Like what are we hoping to come?
I put this on the agenda because I know that for things to happen in the spring with open house and perhaps a spring concert, a joint spring concert, they have to plan now. And so last year, we, as a board, we gave direction that we wanted to make sure that there was collaboration between the schools, that both schools would have access to the community center. And I had this email fly in from an old email, like kind of rose up from Charles Ancheta, and it mentioned that they were gonna reserve for this spring, the same week. The same week was available for reservation. It's just a matter of the DO reserving it. I had talked to Principal Iwasaki, he said that he reserved it. But there was no indication if CMS, the band was invited, or if it was planned, if they were aware of the date, that whole thing. And so I just thought it would be good for us to just have that discussion. And then also the idea of it being every other year. I'm pretty sure that last year we talked about wanting to have it be every year. The parents I've talked to from CMS who were like Evelyn, who've done the boosters, they've always found a way to make it work. And pre-pandemic, the superintendent, Ben Picard, who's here, Dr. Picard, he was very adamant that we should support CMS students going to Anaheim, because at that time there was maybe 500 or 600 students, and like a third of them were in band. And for students to commit to band as an elective, it's a year-long elective, right? You have to commit for the whole time, but it was engaging kids, it was giving them goals, and it was giving them this experience of competing on a national level in a high competition situation, and exposure to an environment. And those kids are not, most of those kids are not going to Japan, most of those kids are not going to Washington DC. Those are small numbers of kids who are going. You're talking about 200 kids from a Title I school who are going together. So, because we don't have a culminating experience right now yet in middle school. So what I wanted to do was to see like if as a board there was agreement that we wanted to provide an opportunity for them to play together in the spring and showcase to their families and to the community, because at the community center, that is free. What costs money is the transportation, the busing, for us as a district to like provide them rehearsal time so that they get that connection, that time together. And when I talked to Principal Iwasaki about it, he was telling me that was actually that rehearsal time together, that 3 or 4 sessions they would need, that's more, even if they practiced alone and then could, in theory, practice one time and then perform, having a few times where they get together, like 3 or 4 times where they get together, that's supported by the district, whether it's through transportation or schedule, so that they can have that time together would be, he feels like that's the most valuable. So, you know, and hearing from the parents, like, you know, as well, they just expressed how that experience in the theater was so elevating for their children, right? That they arranged it in a way where here they are, they're on a professional stage. Well, if we need someplace bigger, maybe we look to Dianza or, you know, some other venue. But if there was a way to, you know, reserve the weeks so that everybody, it could be sort of like a Sunnyvale School District Festival of the Arts or Festival of Music, you know, we could have, if we have the whole week anyway, all our stuff is there. They're not gonna do another show while we're there for 2 or 3 days. I mean, we could do more. But the idea would be that we would really celebrate the work of our students, get into a routine locally, and then as far as Anaheim goes, you know, pre-pandemic, it was every year. It was not every, it somehow turned into every other year because we thought that's what the parents wanted, and the parents who are in band, that's not what I'm hearing from them. And we could do more surveys, we could explore that more. So my question would be not, my direction request would be not that we say we will go every year, but that the district will explore that as an option, talk to parents, and maybe there needs to be boosters, you know, a more formal booster, maybe.
I just want to clarify that the fundraising is more so than parents have informed us that they don't want to go. It's more so the effort and the time it takes for the fundraising, for the students to be able to attend. That's what prompted the every other year more so than the parents. I think, generally speaking, parents and students enjoy that opportunity, but it does come with some extra parameters that are necessary for that to be accomplished.
Right. I understand that.
About the
But I don't know that, let me just say, I don't know that like the every other year is like, I would like that to be explored more. Just going back to a 1 year, an annual goal for the students, an annual opportunity as an exploration. Thank you.
I was just curious about the fundraising, who's fundraising for whom and
Yeah, and
all that.
I think it would be helpful for us as staff to get some additional information for you and better assess what are the costs associated with the annual Anaheim trip, and to what extent and what amount are families fundraising for these efforts as well. And then just curious about exploring that further in terms of what we can do differently moving forward as well.
So I went to my first concert last year, the SMS Spring concert at the community center, at the community theater, and it was just really powerful. And to see students there, they had this like jam. There was like 3 pianists that are jamming in between the sets, like as they're changing the configurations, and then many times like Mr. Achadi would just step back and kids would come up and they would direct their peers. And it was just such a powerful experience. And then the next day I went to CMS's open house, and they were just kind of out in the courtyard area, and it was very hard to hear their music. So I think we do need to look at our musical programming in terms of equity. in terms of closing the opportunity gaps for those students that might not have them. Have the opportunity to have either private music, or maybe they don't go to Cherry Chase or Cumberland or Fairwood. And they don't have the opportunity to play band instruments. When we're thinking about equity, I feel like that this is something that it is our job to find ways to close that gap. And if it's about the funding, how can we partner with others? What else can we do? I just think music education is such a critical part of education in general. In many cases, that can be the joy and purpose for students. And yeah, that I'd just like to see a more comprehensive music programming and those opportunities for all the students in the district, and to see what we can do together. One more thing. I worked at Mount View Wisman, and every student could play an instrument in 4th and 5th grade. And then both of their middle schools at Graham and Creighton, they both went to Anaheim every year. And it was such a highlight of those students that year, such a memorable experience, and just so much pride and joy. And I think that our students in Sunnyvale should have had that as much as those in Mountain View.
It's a similar demographic and socioeconomic profile as our district. So, it can be done. But the
cost.
Let's say, so can I?
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, I have to say thank you for the overview of kind of the purpose. And so if I'm understanding correctly, you're kind of wanting our input on the two, you're wanting us to try to give direction or kind of feedback then related to Disneyland trip and spring performances.
Well,
yeah?
to explore that.
Yeah.
So
but I mean, those are the two kind of things. It's no
there's
specific direction.
Correct.
We have to do this. Yeah.
Correct. And I think, I just also wanted to reinforce this idea of a spring concert as an opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. So with that information, so I'd say for the Disneyland, in theory, every year sounds lovely. I get there's pros and cons, so I don't think I have strong feelings one way or the other, but I love the idea of exploring and looking at it. And then for the spring concert, I think also, if both school sites like the idea of doing a combined concert, then I would say I'm all in then, right? And kind of your idea in making a showcase thing. But if one of the schools is no, we'd rather do our own thing, then I don't really want to force a joint thing on them per se. But if they both like it, then I love the idea. And then also just tangentially, everyone kind of said it, but I think Isabel kind of said it best, that space that we want to make sure, right, that there's equity for both of our programs, just generally speaking.
Right. And I personally would not want to leave it up to one school to opt out for our 2 middle schools. We only have 2 middle schools. And you could see where all the districts, all the district could almost imagine, I could imagine where if it was really a Sunnyvale School District showcase, every school, if Vargas had a choir, they could come and they could perform. You could almost just see it could be a showcase for the whole district. But really our middle schools, those are the ones that definitely have the programs, but they could showcase other groups as well. And I remember when Evelyn came on the board, one of your ideas was we could just have a celebration to celebrate all whether it's art or music, we could just all come together for a festival. And I was thinking, this could be the start of that, right? This could be the start of a Sunnyvale, much like the State of the District, where we had an inaugural event, with that 2023 event that Mr. Lamb mentioned, the music teachers did know each other, right? They did trust each other. But if we set the expectation that this is something that's just an opportunity to explore and to try, why wouldn't we do that? So I'm just interested in having the district explore it, not with the idea of, if you want to, if you don't. So just like what would it take to support that kind of effort? And maybe it wouldn't be too daunting to do without the district support, without the van to move the instruments and the bus to take the kids and the scheduling in advance and the flexibility. Like, it would take a lot, but mapping it all out, you know, there could be a way.
So I think maybe part of the problem, I'm guessing, might be that we have new band directors, music directors at both of our middle schools, and to coordinate such an event is a lot, and that might not be something that a newer teacher, newer to the district teacher would want to do. And so I think rather than give schools the option to opt out and say, can't do that, not now, because we have those students there right now, this is the case where, like, I think the district should find what is it you need, what kind of support, is it logistics, is it, you know, this communication aspect, how can we support and have this expectation that they will perform together, they will have time to practice together, and also be able to travel together. It's too important, like music education and those kind of experiences is so critical to just being a human, like, you know, in terms of like having an arena, having a place to showcase yourself. That's such a huge opportunity, and if they're in our district, they should have that opportunity.
And we've heard from kids who have gone to Anaheim, and they come back and they felt very connected to the other students who they went with from other schools, like from CMS or SMS. And you know, just think of our kids, all of our kids went to science camp, right? They come back and like the last night of science camp, they're all crying because they have to leave their friends from the other elementary schools that they made friends with, right? They're like, ah, and then they're gonna see them again, usually at middle school, which is very sweet, but like, it is that kind of cross-district bonding, right? Before they're going off to high school. It's the next step for them to go together. So I just think it'd be a really great opportunity, especially for the middle schools, but if other schools wanted to join, or, you know, if they ended up doing some sort of an art showcase at the same time somewhere, I think it'd be an interesting option to explore, especially since if we already have the community center booked for that week. So, okay. Evelyn?
I know we're talking about like Anaheim and planning for, you know, the spring and all that. But under description here, it also says equity of access. Is this the time where we would like talk about like if a student wanted to do math, but they also wanted to do music, how can they do that if music's a year long course, right? Is there any way that they could do it then, or they just take math and then they can do music?
You're referring to the additional math, they always have
geometry.
Right,
like geometry.
Yeah, I would say at this time, that's in the midst of what we're doing right now, is looking across our courses at our middle school to see what can and cannot be possible, because we have quite a few variety of needs, but we also have set number of courses we can offer based upon staffing. So those are details we're looking at now, and then we're also engaged in our study right now. We're hoping through that study we'll get some additional details that helps inform our practices as it relates to our courses in middle school.
The answer is yes, yeah. So, I mean, because I have experience working at a middle school where our kids were taking geometry at the high school, and the big popular program was band. And so we were able to find a way to have in the master schedule language, it's called a singleton, where you're able to offer those singletons at different times so they're not competing against each other, and students are not held back from advanced math courses or denied access to an opportunity like band.
Can I address the board?
So, fine, but you know, if members of the public who would like to continue this conversation could definitely send an email to the board. And I do understand that, you know, we did get an email from a parent in band who said, you know, many of the band parents are at Fremont High School music event tonight, and then some other events that are going on because they're doing lots of things. So, you know, we can continue this discussion. This isn't our only discussion about it.
I just want to mention that aspect of it. Our kids go to Homestead and Fremont. They have really amazing, especially marching bands. And we also have feeder schools that are not just Sunnyvale, and I really want our students to be positioned to do just as well as kids coming from, Cupertino Union. And that means comprehensive music programming from TK up all the way till when they leave us, then they can continue to shine in high school.
I'm just gonna give you a little side note, Peggy, based on what I said earlier. A friend's daughter who is in the Mountain View Marching Band, and they're actually really small. Anyways, she really wishes she actually could be at Fremont to be in Fremont's band. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, just one thing. Mika and me were both in the Fremont High School marching band, and it was just the most amazing feeling to see my two daughters on the field. And that year was the Swan, and they were both, they pushed the Swan out, and it was just such a feeling, just to watch them there and do that. And then this will tell my age, but I went to Fremont High School and we had our 30th reunion, right? And so all the parents or all the 30-year 1989 walked around the football field, and it was so neat because my daughters were there playing and I was walking thinking that was me up there, and now I'm here and my two daughters are in the band, marching band. Yeah. So that was just a feeling that I'll never forget.
Okay, so we'll get some more information from the district as plans evolve and information comes forward, and we'll kind of follow this issue. Anything else in closed discussion? Okay, the next item on the agenda after this is talking about future meetings and adjournment. Before we adjourn, this is our opportunity to talk about the next meeting. Do we want to talk about this now? Or timing or something, or did you?
I'm guessing she's referring to the email that I sent the two of you.
Is this when we talk
about the next meeting is?
You could, yeah.
Yeah, this is we have an opportunity to.
Yes.
check
Okay.
it out.
Oh, I'm gonna cry. So the funeral's on the 21st. So it's not the same time as the funeral, but we're just having a big family dinner for everyone in town the night before. If it was just like a regular board meeting like this, missing it, I don't like missing meetings, I rarely do, but like missing it would be, I would just say I'm gonna miss it, that's the board meeting, it's fine. But this is kind of, from a governance perspective, one of our most important meetings of the year. So I just am in this tricky space. So I had sent an email to President and Gudiel, just saying, I don't know if there's a possibility to change the date or possibly move it up earlier. I know earlier probably doesn't work for you, Evelyn, because you work, but I was like, maybe she's in Sunnyvale now, and so maybe she does get out earlier. Anyway, so that was what I sent them earlier, so I guess we could just do a short discussion.
Yeah.
If there's a possibility of adjusting.
Evelyn?
Sorry, but that's my day in Pleasanton, and there's no way I could, come earlier, because I'm the only one there.
Yes, it was something that maybe she's just telling about that day.
Are there other evenings? Are there other evenings that week?
So Thursday the 20th is when we're scheduled, yes.
Because we no longer have a meeting on the 21st.
Right. Which that kind of worked out, because if we had it, we would have had to cancel it.
So, and that board meeting is still on the board calendar. That one's removed, because I think you removed it from your calendar, but it's still on our calendar. It's just it's a admin meeting.
Yeah, so like the night before, I don't think probably doesn't work, because there's that CSBA meeting, unless no one was planning to go to it, like.
We could.
It's still on the calendar though.
Yeah, it just has to get removed, the 21st. So the 21st, we do not have a meeting during the day.
Currently it's just the board meeting.
Since it's just us, it's just a governance meeting and it's not, a bunch of staff, it's just talking about, so that's the meeting where we'll do self-evaluation, we'll do superintendent, evaluation goals, discussion. We'll talk about planning for the next year, for roles and responsibilities for the next, school year or calendar year. Would another night that week work for us? Anybody?
Wednesday, the 19th would work for me.
Yeah, that would just mean, Isabel, that we would not go to the SCCSBA meeting, but we could just do our meeting instead.
Yes, that'd be fine with me.
Yeah, would that be okay with you?
Yes, whatever you want.
I mean, you're available Wednesday? Yeah, so we could do Wednesday then. Why don't we plan for moving it to Wednesday the 19th?
Daytime work for you guys on that day?
Oh. I'm available from after 2 p.m.
I could do daytime.
Yeah, I can do it at 2 p.m.
I cannot do after 2 p.m.
You
I
probably
have to do it before 2 p.m.
Oh, I see. Yeah, on Wednesday, I'm teaching in the morning.
What about bringing back that Friday? Is that still open?
No,
for
Friday's
people?
the food.
Oh, sorry, okay.
No, you're good, you're good.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Wednesday night then?
Or Wednesday earlier, if you want to do Wednesday.
What, I don't think she can do earlier because of her childcare, right? 6 is the
Yeah.
earliest.
We have a hip hop class to get to.
Yeah. That's fine,
Yeah,
kids,
yeah.
your kids are
Your
priority.
kids hip hop?
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
yeah.
But 6 o'clock?
Yeah,
Or do
that would
you
work.
have it later?
No, 6 would work.
Okay, so why don't, we'll plan our next meeting to be at 6 o'clock.
Thank you, everybody. I'm not gonna say more, so I'm correct.
So 6 o'clock on the 19th.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next meeting, borrow your pen, sorry. Our next meeting will be Wednesday, November 19th, at 6 p.m. And it will be a governance meeting. So it's still open to the public, but it will not be on. Okay, so it is now 8:20 p.m. If there's no objections, this meeting is adjourned.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody. Thank you for the translation, appreciate it.
Thank you, good night.